Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nareman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nareman Hamden, and this is Driven Unscripted Success podcast. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Got an awesome guest on today. We've got Trent Clark, who is a leader, an entrepreneur, a coach, was a Major League Baseball coach, has won 3 championships. He is a podcast host and an author. How's it going? Come on, Trent. How you doing?
Nareman, I'm doing great. I couldn't be better, and thankful to be here with you, a fellow Michigander, which I love.
Yeah.
I love the name of your podcast. It probably describes me to the hilt, both driven and unscripted. Both.
Perfect.
I don't know about the success part, but the driven and unscripted part, I am feeling the unscripted part of this today. So I love this, and I'm excited to get going.
Excellent. And I see you're flashing your bling. So tell us about your bling.
Yeah, so a long time. I've spent over 12 years in Major League Baseball, coached for our Tigers in Detroit, and then I went to the World Series twice with the Cleveland Indians, and then I went and won a World Championship with that LA Angels team down there in the OC, down in Orange County, and won their only championship back in '02. So spent a long time, Division I, 2-sport athlete out of the Midwest, and then went to entrepreneurship, 14 startups, sold 16 franchises in all of Arizona for 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and did a bunch of different things in transportation and software and tech, and now leadership, right? I own a growth company, and I help companies grow, and I help young athletes develop NIL businesses. So trying to stay busy,
Yeah, so you're not busy at all, is what you're saying.
No. I'm also the president of Entrepreneurs Organization West Michigan. So that's that's my volunteer job that takes up about half my week.
That's how it usually goes, doesn't it? It's
right.
Your job that becomes a full-time job.
Right on. Yeah.
So what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
I think self-doubt. I think self-doubt was probably the biggest one. The whole imposter syndrome has always been a thing. Being told early I wasn't, fast enough, big enough, strong enough to be a major league player, and start telling myself I'm not enough. And then when you start getting in business and you meet really super successful people, and you're like, man, I can't even see myself in their category. They're just so much smarter than I am, or whatever. So much whatever, fill in the blank, more than me. And you start down that imposter syndrome. But so it's a danger, and so I think, but it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because the curse is like comparison model. It's tough. No one should ever compare. There's no reason, right? The blessing is it keeps. I'm a carrot guy, so it keeps dangling it out in front of me, and I'll keep going for the carrot, right? I'm driven there. I'm driven. So
you are driven.
Carrot out.
There's that carrot again. It's so unscripted.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Out there and off I run.
There you go. So when you think back, are there any moments that you'd say really changed the game for your career?
There's a ton of moments. Yeah, there's like so many. There's moments of people that you just meet, very, very like almost nondescript conversations that turn into be a really big deal, which I think is a great lesson for people. Like, be who you are all the time, especially in the social media era. Like, don't try to be somebody you're not, because the authenticity and being genuine and this is who I am and what I stand for is so important now more than ever. And, I've just been blessed to be with some people that are just on their way, and they thought a lot of me. And, and a lot of people used to tell me, Nareman, like, especially in baseball, like, oh, it's all who you know. And I'm like, it's who knows you. I know Nareman to be this hardworking, kick-ass realtor who goes out, creates all this environment and work. You need to work with her. And my testimony of you is how I know her. And so it's not who knows you, or it's how they know you, right? Sure. And so, and I had this example, like when I went to, interview with the New York Yankees, and Mr. Steinbrenner was still the owner. Well, I was a 33-year-old guy who'd already been to 3 World Series, and that was a good selling point. But I knew Mr. Steinbrenner, he didn't know me. And that's a challenge because he's like going, who is this guy? I don't know. And if
Right.
someone else, a close friend, would have said, oh, you really need to talk to Trent Clark, man. This young coach, he's up and coming, already been in 3 World Series. He's going to get your $250 million payroll right and keep you in championships year after year. That's a whole different conversation, right?
Absolutely.
So there were
Absolutely.
some game-changing moments like that in conversations that didn't feel like such a big deal in the moment, but they were massive if you were able to take them in.
Sure. Sure. So what's a skill or habit you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
Self-discipline. That's probably my number one habit or skill set, mindset that people have that in my world, which is the top 1%, and that's who I work with, that's who I coach. I'm looking for people that are always looking to grow, grow, grow. They want to,
Mhm.
keep and develop their teams and keep learning, lifelong learners. They really get the fact that self-discipline is a big deal, and taking ownership on that. The real elite few that I've known, who are always willing to go the extra mile, do their things. They really understand the value that time is precious. This is where I'm at. I've got to be disciplined with it because I want to be my best for those people
Sure.
that are most important to me. And being disciplined with that allows me so that when Nareman and I are together, I give her my best 60, 90 minutes a day because that's maybe all we get, right? But
Right.
I also got 4 others in my lives like that. My COO, my this, my that, and they got to get it too. So understanding that self-discipline and I think that kind of coincides with a little self-care, right? Is how
Sure.
you really take care of a lot of people and understand your responsibility for many.
Absolutely. And then you add in there the time management, which is the core of discipline as well,
Yeah.
to be
Well,
respectful
I
of
think
your time and everybody else's time, you know?
Yeah, and I think there, I mean, that's what we get out of the college sport environment, right? The high level athlete really understands time management. I think this is why people want to hire athletes. They understand hyper learning. If you can't learn fast, you can't stay because we need
Right.
someone to go quickly. Like you got to keep developing, right? Because the best in the world are going fast and they're adapting. And then they also have this team environment, the mindset like I've got to be my best for my team. Time is of the essence. We only have a finite time and amount of it. We have to maximize it to get the impact. And I still need rest and recovery, which is a huge part of my time, right? If people could
Mhm.
figure out, how to, either navigate for a 30-hour day or learn like, hey, I can last on 90 minutes of sleep a night, like we're going to be a whole new production thing, right? But that's probably not what we're going to be doing and doing well, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So obviously leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
My leadership style is always driving people to their highest potential, right? I want to see them exceed even their own expectations. And oftentimes that means even helping them see what all of us see, because some people don't see that in themselves sometimes, right? They don't see their own
Right.
greatness. And I think that's really a challenge. And I would describe my style as, and I kind of got this from pro sports, is that I'm always evaluating you at your best self. So in pro sports, we're always evaluating talent at the major league level. And that's hard because you've got a 21-year kid who goes, hey, I'm an A All-Star, Class A Cal League champion, and I won the home run derby, and I'm a big deal. And I'm like, you're still 3 levels from the major leagues. Like no one ever remembers the Cal League All Star. Like
Right.
and by the way, you don't get paid for that either. By the way, like like
Right.
it's like a nice thing. You want to make millions and be at the top of your game and see you how we see you. You still have these 3 flaws in your game, and if you don't fix it, the moment you arrive there, they will exploit it, and you'll be sent down within weeks. And that's
Sure.
hard for a person who's having so much success at their current level to understand that the next level won't be successful. And
Right.
so So I would say my leadership style is one of anticipation of what's coming next. And that's probably my superpower is being able to take some things and see 7 layers down of what's about to happen. If this, then that, then that, then if this, then that, and do that very quickly, which is a total blessing and a God-given talent. And I'm thankful for that. It's also a horrible curse, right? Because my mind is here and people are still talking about level 1, and I'm like, is anyone going to keep up? Because why are we still talking about dumb
Right.
stuff? It's like not good.
I've already retired you. You've already played. You've gotten your salary, and you're going
Yeah.
to the game.
Yeah.
And you're still talking
And the
about
kid,
what?
yeah, and the kid's trying to get to 22, and I'm like, no, I get it. I'm like, listen, I've got it mapped out for you, right?
That's too funny.
Exactly. You understand my dilemma.
Oh, yeah, that's
Thank
what
you
my
for
brain
jumping
was.
into my nightmare. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
Yeah.
We're friends
Thank you.
for. So when you're building your dream team, what's the one trait you always look for and why?
Mindset. I'm looking for mindset in the players, and I'm also looking for different skills and different thinking, different ways of thinking. Having owned 14 companies, right? I often tell a lot of people, especially yes people. I don't know if you've ever had that, Nareman, in an interview where they're giving you, oh yeah, 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 Nareman, me too. I think just like you do. And I
Right.
last about 8 minutes in an interview of that. And then I'm like, hey, listen, if you think just like I do, one of us isn't needed here. And since I own the joint, it's probably you. So it's
Right.
like I don't need people
I
to
don't,
think like me. I don't have that
you don't need a
ego that I
fluffer.
want. Yeah, I don't want agreement. I want alignment. And let's debate that alignment. So we can argue the agreement and we can make a case, but ultimately we have to make a decision, a team. And then I need that mindset of a team player that says, hey, we all agreed it. Nareman's idea was better than Trent's idea. So Saturday, come game time, we're going with Nareman's 3 plays because they're better than Trent's plays in our eyes. And so I can, pout about it, not fair. My idea is just as good as Nareman's,
Right.
or I can
Yeah.
be a part of the solution and get my players ready to do what we're going to be asked because we're going to run Nareman's plays, and this is your job on that role. And the moment you have someone on the team who's like, you know what, I want to run Trent's play. Like, wait a minute, we can't have 10 people going one way and one going the other way. This play is going to end badly. Like, we have to all be in alignment, and we don't need your agreement. We've discussed it, we've practiced for it. Now we have to go execute it, and we need alignment around execution, not agreement. And I think that's sometimes hard for people to gather. That it's okay to not. And by the way, maybe my plays are going to be great in 6 weeks and we'll be ready for those plays. Like, it's not no forever. It's
Right.
just no for now. And I don't think people always understand that.
Right. It's what works for the current situation.
Yeah. What was the second half of your question? Maybe I didn't answer that.
And why?
Why? I think that as lifelong learners, I want to be stretched. I want to be pressed. And I think curiosity is the key to growth. And
Sure.
so if I don't have that mindset for people that are willing to create an argument, debate that, and be okay with going another direction, because what I'm asking you is I'm not asking you for right or wrong. I'm asking you for trust, and I'm asking you in productive conflict that we all agree that executing it this way today and being in alignment this way is going to serve us best for now. And they have that mindset that they're willing to lean into that and be a team player for the greater good. And even when it's not their idea that got taken, and they got to be okay with that.
Right. You got to be able to roll with the punches and work out the solution or the problem for the solution. Whether it was your idea or not, it's, he said, aligning and coming together.
Sure.
So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
Yeah, I often think it's through reading, but I also think it's through experience, right? Testing boundaries. I like to do things I've never done before, right? We call it the oil, once in a lifetime experience. I did a talk in Guatemala one year, and this was the craziest oil experience I've had. Where we went to the top of a 15-story building in Guatemala City, and they had rappel equipment on ropes that we would rappel down this building. And I thought, well, that's not too crazy. I can do this. And then they started putting out the harness on the wrong way. And
Oh,
I'm like,
geez.
hey, this can't be right. And I'm looking at like 15 Guatemalans all average like 117 pounds. And they're going to hold the rope and I'm going to walk the building forward as if I'm falling down the building, and I'll rappel and they'll lower me.
With the harness on backwards.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can step off this good standing building. like you are tested in these moments. And so
Wow.
I think moments like that, which is they're creating a pretty safe environment, but it doesn't feel that safe. And you're being tested. And I think I think those things like cognitively, aesthetically, kinesthetically, like challenging your body in different ways is just learning, right? It's just, this is what we're so good at in pro sports. We are hyper learners. And I see this in real, like 3 environments, right? I see it in the pro athletes. I see it in our high elite forces, right? Where it's life or death. You got to train and be ready to adapt to these things. And we'll only be executing at our lowest level of training. It's not like, oh, well, we'll all rise to the highest level of training. No. What we execute well at the lowest levels where we're gonna peak probably as a team. And so you realize how important that is to just keep bringing those training levels up. And then, of course, entrepreneurs, because it's just constantly adaptive. And I saw a stat the other day where, an entrepreneur is now making over 50,000 decisions a day. Like, the very idea that they're getting 51,500 right is probably not real. Like, there's a lot of error and mistake and trial. And so getting a lot going in the right direction is super important. And so this is where I think like that hyper learning environment becomes so important. So how do you get and reinforce that? Is it books? Is it speakers? Is it audio? Is it podcasts? Is it going on and doing these events and these excursions? I think there's a lot of ways, but we got to keep pressing the learning.
Sure. So, what does a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
Oh, wow. A day
boy.
in
Here
my
we go.
life. Yeah. Pure chaos. I'm here at noon, this is my lunch hour. So, I just ate like 2 bites of a sandwich before I came in and jumped online. So my day starts pretty early. It usually starts before 6 a.m. And I do one of 2 things first in the morning. I always wake up and I always drink warm hot water with lemon and honey. And that's how I start my day. And I usually drink like an elixir that's kind of helping in my digestion system. And I don't eat. And if I'm going, I usually put my head down for 45 minutes on something really important that I want to accomplish. My number one thing I need to get done today, I put my head down before anything in my house wakes up. Like it's a busy house and it's quiet and I got myself and I'm not thinking about a lot of stuff. And so I put a timer on and I put my head down for 45 minutes and try to complete my number one task. And then after that, I take a 5-minute break and then I'm either off to work out or I'm going to do a second session. And the next session might be another 45 minutes. And then I'm done with that. And if I'm still on number one, I finish number one. And if I pivot to number 2, I'm going to number 2. And maybe I finish number 2 and number 3 of the most important things of my day. And then I will usually cold plunge and eat and get ready for my day. And so I've sometimes got the 3 most important things done already, but I'm prioritizing those things and the workout's usually a high priority. So I usually only do 1 session in the morning because I'm usually working out. But I also have a Bible study 1 day a week. And
Nice.
one of my workouts is a hockey game in the morning. So I play that at 6 in the morning. So I'm up doing that. And that's how I start my day. My day's got to end by like 6 o'clock or my brain's like bubblicious. People want me on shows at like 8 o'clock and I'm like, all right, I might be mumbling. I don't know if I will be able to enunciate my words.
Right.
But I'm not drunk. I am not drinking, but it's late,
Right.
And that's kind of back to those 50,000 decisions. Like it's taxing.
Yeah, for sure. Busy
Yeah.
morning to start off.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I start my morning, and then I just block time. The whole thing of what's important, time block is what's on the schedule, and I try to batch time, which is how I kind of keep sanity. Like I only look at my accounting 1 hour a week, and I've got it batched when I'm going to do it. Now, when I fall behind, welcome Saturday morning,
Right.
like
It
the
was my
2 3 hour
Saturday.
session out on the porch, like catch up on something I need to see. But um you know, in an ideal world, the batching keeps it, a lot of stuff comes in down, and I have people to help me prepare that hour. And it's really important to me to keep my swim lanes of thought process, because when I'm with Nareman, I want to be with you, right? I don't want to be like, oh, what's that accounting thing? Oh, who's that client that needs to talk later? Like, I don't want to be thinking about that. I've got to be
Right.
present here. So I'm really blocking that time so that I can focus and get it done, and then it's on to the next thing. And I look at the day in the morning and I map it all out while I'm eating my breakfast, and I know exactly what has to happen. I usually do it the night before, but I kind of know how the day is going to go, and then I don't that eliminates most of the surprises.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, I can't live without my calendar. Everything's blocked off, and it's the night before is look at it, get prepped for the next day, and then morning I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. I think for anyone who gets that, Nareman, I mean, that is a huge deal for production, because when your feet hit the floor, you know the direction you're going.
Absolutely.
And so many people don't.
No.
And what you said was so powerful, because it really has a lot to do with the night before. If you stay up and binge your Netflix till 2:30 and I can't put the show down, this is so great. And then all of a sudden you need to be somewhere at 6:30, and you're kind of, oh man, I woke up late, I'm behind, I didn't get my hair done, now I got to do this. And you
Right.
blow the meeting, and it's like, man, like you may not get a second chance. And
Right.
so that discipline, and like, I did a TEDx on it, right? Called The Pain Exchange, all about the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And when you miss that meeting at 6:30, now you got to feel the pain of regret. Like, oh, why did I watch Netflix all night? I was so tired, and I didn't nail that meeting, and now I didn't get the sale, and I'm not gonna, work with that client who now has, 15 houses for you to sell. And you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking, right?
Right.
You don't get a redo.
No, you don't.
And so it's one of these things, like, I think it's a hard lesson, but the pain of discipline is very acute, it's short term, and the pain of regret is very chronic. It lasts a long time. So being able to manage that is a really big deal. And so getting your priorities and your calendar in order and starting it right and reviewing it. And by the way, one of the big pluses I got from that, Nareem, and you may appreciate that, is when I used to do it in the morning, I didn't sleep very well, because I'd be like, oh, remember, I got to be on
Right.
Nareman's show. I got to be
Right.
like, oh, remember this. And like, if I reviewed it the night before, I
You
found out I slept 25 to 35% better based on, what the dynamics are
know
telling me,
what's
my
coming.
feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You
so I'm like going, of course I did. I was relaxed. I didn't have to think about it. And, go to bed with anxiety and sleep with anxiety, probably not a good idea, right?
gonna work.
So, yeah,
Gonna work. So,
yeah.
has there been a book, a podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
Lots, lots of people. Always pivoting. I coach with Nick Saban. That guy, I mean, just watch his stuff on YouTube. Like, watch his stuff. He's so locked in on process. It's uncanny, because Nariman, when you're at the top of your game, everybody's coming to knock you off. If you're the top realtor in Naples, guess
Sure.
what? You're all over the place, and they're all coming for you.
Oh,
when
sure.
when you're number 78 on the list in Naples, like, no one even knows who you are, right?
Yeah,
Like,
nobody
you
cares.
don't, you're
You're
not,
like, who?
yeah, yeah, you're not feeling competition. That guy sat at the top of college football for years, almost 2 decades. And so the process of it becomes, how do we stay? We're not facing competition. We're our own competition now. If we don't do what's necessary, we have a formula for success. If we follow our formula, if we continue to improve our processes, we will continue and remain as good as we are now, if not better. And so he really understood that. So he's a game changer for me. I think, from a business side, an entrepreneurial side, and growth, 10x is easier than 2x is a great book. Incredible. I really love a book called oh my gosh, what is this book called? Man, I can't think of it. It's oh, it's something stupid. I can't remember. It actually has stupid in the title, right? And Keith Cunningham wrote the book, and it's a fabulous book, and it's all just about these little dynamics, these little lessons. Because what I've found, Nareman, is that in the world of competition, these fractional improvements create massive gain. I mean, massive gain. And people don't really understand that. They think like, oh, that's such a small improvement. Merriman, like, oh, well, that little tweak I made in my marketing has now produced 75 more calls to me incoming a week to potential clients. And you're like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, over 6 months of tweaking this little thing about the way I put out my information, this is the yield. And they're like, whoa, yeah, game changer. Because the reality is the fact that the 10x is easier than 2x is when we talk about how do you double something and double the value, you and I can sit down and we can whiteboard 250 ideas of how we could double it. Oh, we could add more clients. We could increase it. We could go into this industry and add this new client list, and we could do this. And oh, you know, we could expand into quad units and, you know, multi-housing and that's just large residential. And, you know, there's lots of ideas, but the reality is that the only company that went from 5 million to 50 million, they focused on these 2 or 3 things. And so the 250 will fall under them, but the 2 or 3 things we have to get right. And so we get very focused and aligned on the 2 or 3 things we have to do. And that's been game changing. The other guy I met recently that I didn't meet him personally, but we were at a conference, and Ed Milet, I think, is a guy who's kind of dialed up some stuff that's pretty flippin' good. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the guy, and I'm pretty impressed with some of his education and, you know, what he's gone through to get to where he's at. He's got a very story that's filled with self-awareness, and I think that's probably one of the biggest thing our leaders have to get today.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Sure. So how do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I'm becoming less flexible, right? You know, maybe I'm just getting old, you know, like I don't want to do stuff outside my comfort zone a lot, but I do it because I always get so much value, right? So when I do it, I've got to understand how I learn best, right? I'm a pretty kinesthetic learner. Like, one of the gifts me and one of my sons has is like, you could show me something physically, and in about 4 minutes, I can be doing it about as well as anyone else. So that's a gift, right? That just everyone doesn't have. Now, the other for me is I can consume information very quickly. I'm a fast thinker. So, you know, I use a lot of Blinkist, where I'm getting summaries of books, and I will 2x that Audible. So it's a summary of a book in 15 minutes. So I could take a 30-minute where you and I are going to go to coffee. I'll meet you, and in 30 minutes, I can hear that book 3 times. So I'll listen to it 3 times, and then I can quickly script out the 3 or 4 really things I really need to take away from that, and then see how I'm going to use that and adapt to it very quickly. So I'm a hyper learner, and I've learned how to do that. And of course, AI is only helping it, right? Now that we can go, hey, give me the top 5 things I need to take away from this book. And it's like, 45 seconds later, you have it, right? It's like, wait, how long did that used to take me? You know?
Right.
Now, whether I trust it or not yet, I don't know, you know. I don't know if I trust that these are the most important 5. I'd probably like to verify, and you and I debate those top 5. Like, hey, here's my 5 and your 5, as opposed to the AI maybe. So I'm still under the, trust God, all else must bring data, right? I'm still in that AI verification mode. So, but I think that's how I wanna tackle it and test it. And I'm not a half in guy. Like, so if I'm gonna do it, like, I'm all in. Like, I don't know how to be. I don't know how to half-ass. I
Yeah.
don't understand the language.
I totally agree with you on that. I don't understand the lukewarmness, or it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like either you're in or you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
You want to
that's
see me freak out
simple. Just the
sometime?
way my brain works. I'm like,
The
nope,
You
not
want to see me freak
interested.
out?
Yup, interested.
Yeah. Freak out is me with someone standing 10 feet behind the person who's putting their toe in the water. I don't know. I don't know. And I'll be like, I will freak out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am
You
pushing you
know,
in no time. Like, you're just gonna have to go find out.
yeah, sink or swim.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There may not be leeches. We'll see. So it's yeah, and I think that's the all-in mentality, which I get that that's not for everybody. I mean, and that doesn't mean it's the best way. I think there's other methodical ways to learn where people like, hey, I download the information, I get the 5 texts, I decide which is the best author, I do background checks on the author and how they really formulated their mythology. And like, whoa, like, okay, like that's awesome. Like, I'm never doing any of that stuff. I'm not an
You're
Excel
already doing like
spreadsheet.
backstrokes with leeches.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I am not that guy. And so if people need me to, and it's why I'm not in engineering, right? I wouldn't be a good engineer. I wouldn't be a good accountant. My father's an accountant. I wouldn't be a good accountant. Like, that's not going to be my bailiwick. But that's something I had to learn, right? That's the self-awareness that we need, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So managing finances is crucial both in business and in personal life. How do you approach financial planning to ensure stability and growth in both areas?
Yeah. Learned early, like, asset base, right? I like to have cushion. I like to have comfort. So I always want greater equity than I need. I always want, things that are gonna, be, uh, aligned with where the time is. Like, I get concerned when people get out of their zones. Like, kind of like, you don't have to necessarily stay in your swim lane, but please stay in the pool. Right? If we're an accounting firm, we shouldn't be talking about, yeah, I really feel like we should be growing wheat. Like, wait, what? Like, we do auditing. Like, what do like, and so when people want to get too far outside the pool, like, you kind of got to stay with what you know. And man, I would say for me about finances, it's really about hiring the right person. I need someone with a mentality for the finances that is at least going to share my methodology and theories, and they could do it their own way. I don't care how they do it necessarily and how they execute on it, but we need to have the same mindset around this and the comfort level. And that's one of the challenges. Soon in my life, I'm coming up in this period where um, I have a very tight financial situation. It's gonna extremely pinch my financial being, and so because of that, like, that makes me very uncomfortable. I am in a very uncomfortable position, because I want equity. I always want the ability to, like, oh, here's a fabulous idea. Nareman has this great building. I have a lot of short-term rental, STR. I have an STR business. So you call me and say, oh my gosh, there's this fabulous place in Naples. This would be the most wonderful rental. I can just see this thing just, booking out, 45 weeks a year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on a plane. I'm headed down. I want to be able to call my bank and say, hey, I need $100,000. We'll rework this property or this thing and this line and have that equity to see an opportunity and seize it. And I'm coming into a season where I won't have it. And so that discomfort creates action for me, because discomfort always makes me move.
Yeah.
And in fact, comfort makes me terrified. When I get comfortable, I start looking over my shoulder. Right? Like, who's coming for me? I'm on the couch, eating bonbons, watching
Right, I was
Netflix.
just gonna throw bonbons out.
Something bad's gonna happen, right? Like, the roof might catch fire. I don't know. Like, so, it's a little bit unrealistic paranoia, and I can relax. I do a lot of things to relax, so it's not like I can't, but I do feel it internally, and I think you know, you can imagine, you know, us entrepreneurs, you have that personality, right? And it does give out that vibe and signal, and I could see it making, you know, the people close to me sometime uncomfortable. Like,
Sure.
why can't you just settle in and enjoy looking at the
Or
lake?
just tweaking, looking over your
And I'm
shoulder,
like,
middle of dinner.
right?
Good to see you, folks. What?
Yeah,
Say
yeah,
something?
another blessing and a curse, right? Like another thing that I have, and I have to be aware about that because I don't want to, you know, and I tell, you know, one of my boys is like this great fisherman, and he's so good, and it's really respect, and I admire that because I'm terrible, by the way. Like I'm terrible. He wants to go together, and like, and I found out, and I told him, you know, like, hey, it turns out like I really hate fishing, but I really love catching. So like maybe we should just go to like a fishery or something where I can just drop line and just pull fish because I really enjoy our company. I just can't sit here and look at the lake all day and
For
catch
3 hours.
because my frustration mounts, you know,
Yeah.
and I also get my head away from like what the 1200 things I should be doing. So it's trying to be very, you know, intentional about being present is important, and I get challenged with things like that sometimes, especially when I'm not good at them. You know, that challenges me.
Yeah, well, it's out of your comfort zone. So makes it definitely, a lot more challenging, and it sounds like you're not used to just slowing down and sitting there for 3 hours staring at something.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean,
I could be doing this and this and this
oh,
and this.
it's hard. It's hard, right?
Yes.
Because you know I've been on a long time. Like you know, I owned 1-800 Got Junk Arizona for I don't know my last 4 years in professional baseball. So I'm going to World Series, trying to get this team to strive for World Championships, and I'm trying to get my trucking team to you know double my revenue and double our team size and buy more trucks. And meanwhile, my family's expanding. Now we have 3 boys, and then you know we have 5 kids now, 3 businesses, and yeah, like I'm not like low on like things to do, right? Like I don't have I don't have a
Sounds like,
like wake up and go, wow, I got nothing to do today. What
oh,
should I do? I don't
whatever
have
shall
that.
I do today? Yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds like
I
it
do have some
sounds.
envy for people that do that though. Like I do have some envy around that because I'm hoping I can find my way that place one day because it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, where you're at sounds like you've got the blender without the top on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And those eggs don't come off the wall that easy. I'll be
No,
honest.
they definitely don't.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's that great.
Thank you for jumping into my nightmare. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean it's good.
I've been there. So as we're wrapping up the interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have planned for the next 6 to 12 months? What do you got going on?
Yeah, yeah, big 6 to 12 months upcoming. You know, our growth. You know, company is booming. You know, I'm a Bloom growth coach. I love to work with organizations that are just driven to grow, right? And by the way, as you and I both know, growing destroys a lot of companies. Like the growth is the very thing that takes them down. So being able to learn that methodology of how to scale properly and build the team. I love building leading winning teams, right? And how do you do that really well and create that environment? So have a huge passion for that business that's growing fast. We're investing in a lot of best in class baby boomer businesses, and that's exciting. And you know they're super unsexy, like they're super unsexy, but like we're just on paper and the teams that we have and building them up. It's a lot of fun to work with folks who haven't been in that team environment and get that unity and alignment and learn, you know, come to a place where they can really be proud to work and advance, which has been,
Sure.
I think, a real challenge in our society. We just haven't offered people advancement based on their merit. We've offered advancement based on a degree or something else that didn't necessarily do that. So, you know, we still operate under an earned and never, you know, never given. So people can earn that from the bottom up, and I like that environment, and I'm competitive, and I want people to be driven for it. So I'm excited about that and what we're doing and what we're accumulating and acquiring.
That sounds exciting. So tell us a little bit about your book and your podcast.
Yeah. So, Leading Winning Teams is the name of the book, right? So that is book I wrote. Wiley contacted me on that, and I was pretty excited about that. I always thought I should write a book, and didn't know how I would do that. So it was great that they found me, and they found me because of the podcast. Winners Find a Way has been, consistently around 100,000 downloads a month, and for the last couple years, and it's been a great environment. And it's another way I learn, right, Nareman? Because I get to be on these podcasts with all these world beaters, and they're telling their stories. They're telling, what they had to overcome. And that podcast is based on that a quote from the 4 Disciplines of Execution. It says, winners, when shown data that they're losing, find a way to win. And I really love that. I love that quote. It's the type of people and the mindset in people that I surround myself with all the time. And those folks who don't get that mindset, have a hard time being close to me. Because we don't see eye to eye,
That's okay. You're
so it's not.
you're not always going to be everybody's cup of tea. So
Amen. Yeah. People do find that out, right?
you're like, that's why I just drink warm water with lemon and honey.
I just hope that half your audience didn't shut off halfway. I just I don't know. Yeah, this is not my cup of tea. Love Nareman. I don't know who this guy is, right? So yeah. So there is that challenge. You took the chance, not me. You took the chance on me. So
it was a great chance. I've thoroughly enjoyed having you on. You're definitely a lot of fun. And good luck to you and growing your business. Thank you so much for coming on. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, you can reach me directly at trent@leadershipity.com, our website, leadershipity.com, or trent-clark.com. And I speak all over the world, so always up for that. And you can find me on all the socials at Trent M. Clark or Leadershipity. One of those on all the socials, you'll find me. And please reach out and connect. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you guys next time. Thanks, Trent.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.